Hey guys, this video is pretty quick so that you can spend most of your time looking at the assignment for today. So the first thing for you guys to work on is here's kind of like a mini warm-up. Practice and see if you've got it down how to solve in the 3 different forms of a quadratic. And then when you're ready, unpause the video and let's see if you were on the same page I was. All right, so because we are solving, notice how all the equations already have 0 in it. Okay, so remember how solving is slightly different, where it's just x equals 5 is an answer, versus if I said find the x-intercept, you would plug that 0 in place of y or f of x, solve it exactly the same way, and then your answer would be written as 5 comma 0 instead of just x equals 5, okay? But the procedure is the same. So factored form, basically what you're doing, if there's a value in the front, you need to divide both sides by that value, by that like GCF, and then set both factors equal to 0 and solve. So one answer is going to be -1. The other one, add 7 to both sides, divide by 2, and 7/2 is my other answer. Just like in the past, you guys try to leave your answers as fractions. That's the better route to go instead of turning them into decimals, just like we have all year. All right, in vertex form, okay, you literally solve. There's no fancy trick to it. There's no special route. It's just move stuff around, get x all by itself. So my first step is to subtract 72. Now I need to divide both sides by the -3 in the front. So I just found that in my calculator. That's 24. Take the square root of both sides. And here's the part that I want to make a mistake on purpose. I am not going to include the plus or minus in front of the square root of 24, and I'm going to show you why in a second. Let's say then you subtract the 6 and you get over here and you go, well, wait, wasn't there supposed to be something in the front? Okay, that can help you remember, oh yeah, I forgot the plus or minus. Another thought too is you should typically get 2 answers when you're solving a quadratic. So that's another thought as well, that if you only get 1 answer, you know that you missed, you can go back and go, oh yeah, I forgot the plus or minus. That's where I get 2 answers from, okay? Remember, if we were doing a quiz or a test like we would if you guys were in school right now, right? This would be a yellow, and I would specifically highlight the square root of 24. And hopefully that would be your cue for like, oh yeah, I need to check to see if 24 divides nicely by a perfect square. So here's the deal, you guys. I know that 24 divides by 4, and I know that's a perfect square, but I want to check. It doesn't divide by 9 or by 16. So yeah, I'm going to go with 4. So 4 times 6 is the same thing as 24. The square root of 4 is 2. I don't know what the square root of 6 is. And then I just leave my answer just like that. Standard form, the procedure is using the quadratic formula. So don't forget from our annoying Pop Goes the Weasel video from last week, the quadratic formula is -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, right? And I know it's obnoxious, but trust me, 2 years from now in Algebra 2, you're going to be going, Mrs. Nurs, she knows what she's talking about. All right, so -b squared minus 4ac. Now here's the part you haven't seen before. A is 1, even though we don't write the 1 right there. Okay, so still put it in place of your equation so you're not forgetting where that a value goes. All right, so if I start simplifying, I've got -4 in here and 2 down here. You'll actually notice when I do these videos, I tend to do the -4 and the 2 first, then I worry about the square root later. So 4 squared is 16. And then that's going to be plus whatever 4 times 59 is, which is, 236. That's a big number. Okay. Plus 16. So that gets me -4 plus or minus square root of 252 all over 2. I don't know if 252 is a nice perfect square, and it's not. So this one's going to be a little bit more challenging for me to find something it divides by. So I might start with bigger numbers, honestly. Maybe like 36. Wow, I got lucky. It does divide by 36. I didn't know that off the top of my head. I was going to keep trying numbers. But it divides into 36 and 7. So that was pretty lucky. That worked out great. Usually I'll sit there and I'll divide by 4, divide by 9, divide by 16 until I find something. So we get, then that turns into 6 root 7. And now we can do the whole kind of like butterfly thing where those two things divide. So -4 divided by 2 is -2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and the square root stays along for the ride. Watch out, you guys, because now that you know this little like butterfly trick to simplify it, what's going to happen is you're going to want to simplify up here. The trick is you can't use this butterfly technique unless there is a number in front of the square root that works. So that's why we have to reduce it first. Then once you have that 6 in the front that also divides by 2, that allows you to simplify it further, okay? So in a nutshell, if you were to take a quiz or a test on this concept so far, this would probably be my note card on top of how to factor and then how to complete the square with a number other than a positive 1 in the front, right? Like that would be my note card. That's the main bulk of what you need. And you are going to need all 3 of these concepts in Algebra 2 for sure, okay? So last idea for this short video, and then you can start working on your homework assignment. What if the equation is given in standard form and Mrs. Nurs lets you pick how to solve the equation? What order should you try these methods? Okay, so if it's given to you in standard form, sometimes I'll say complete the square and change it into vertex form, then solve for the equation or something like that. But what if I say solve it however you want to? Okay, here's the order. You should try factoring it first. Okay, factoring, of these 3 concepts, you guys, factoring is the one that comes back to haunt you in Algebra 2. So if you are struggling with factoring in any way, email me, ask me for some extra practice, go to Khan Academy and look up some practice for factoring, come see me during office hours. This is the big one, okay? Then 2, if factoring doesn't work, it's kind of up to you. You could either do the quadratic formula or complete the square. So for me personally, completing the square allows me to not have to reduce. Like I don't have to do the butterfly thing and reduce square root of 12 so it looks nicer. So for me, I would do this one second. So like my order would be factoring first, completing the square second, quadratic formula third. That would be my personal order. Having said that, some of you guys don't really like completing the square that much, or it kind of messes you up because you might get like the different number at the end. And maybe you do like the quadratic formula and you don't mind doing this stuff down here and simplifying, okay? So it just kind of depends from there. But always, if you have an option, try factoring first. Trust me. Okay. All right. So you have your Chapter 9 homework number 5 assignment today. Don't forget to post it under the assignment tab on Google Classroom. You guys are doing really good with that so far. And if you have questions, come see me for office hours. Good luck, you guys.